So in this tutorial we will attempt to add the newly released Bootstrap 4 to Bedrock. So first I'm really gonna start from scratch by having nothing, an empty desktop, and I'm gonna go to Google Chrome, go to the Bedrock homepage, and then I'm gonna click Get Started, and we should really add a clear GitHub link here, because actually I just want to go to GitHub. So I'm gonna visit the repository, I have Bedrock here, and I'm gonna clone Bedrock using this URL. So I'm going to git clone the URL, it's gonna download Bedrock. I'm going to install the dependencies of Bedrock using npm install, and I'm gonna verify if node works on my system, so node -v, and then whether gulp works on my system. So I have recent versions of both of them, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go to documentation, requirements, and here there's information about how to install the requirements to run Bedrock. So assuming you have all this and you downloaded your dependencies, you can use gulp to basically run Bedrock, the basic install of Bedrock. And don't worry if things look ugly, we're gonna fix it soon by including Bootstrap 4, the newly released Bootstrap 4. So they still say like v4 alpha here, but if you go to getbootstrap.com, you can download the compiled CSS and JavaScript. Let's do that one because it's the easiest for now. I mean, there are better methods, but this is just the easiest one to get started with. So we have CSS here, we have JavaScript here. So let's start with the CSS, and basically what we're looking for is this file here, bootstrap.css. So we're gonna go into Bedrock, we're gonna go into the content folder, the SCSS folder, and in main.scss we're just gonna paste the contents of bootstrap.css. Ta-da! And look at our project. So now you see the typography has changed, and basically we could start including bootstrappy things. So let me load this file, and I actually want to have some syntax highlighting here. So if I type something like container, don't know if that still exists in Bootstrap 4, yes. And then there are some, maybe I will add margin top 4 to this template, and you can see that I can really start styling things. I could add on to Bootstrap, maybe I want to kind of add a style for pre, so I can start like writing new styles on top of Bootstrap. So that's basically one way to include Bootstrap, but it's kind of a crappy way to include Bootstrap. So now that we know this, we're gonna go to another way to include Bootstrap. So I'm just gonna remove all of this because, I mean, if you're coding like this, please don't. And we're gonna use the source file. So this is the second easiest method to load Bootstrap. I'm just gonna stay talking about CSS only, just to make it easy for now. We have this SCSS folder here, and that's really what we're looking for, SCSS. So I'm gonna copy and paste all of this stuff inside the SCSS folder, and then basically you want to load this, but you want to load it in the right order. So one way to find that right order is to look into this file, bootstrap.scss, and we just copy paste the references here. We do need this one because it's Bedrock specific, and we once again have our Bootstrap styles. So that's one way to work. I mean, you could organize things a bit more if you wanted to, by, for example, putting everything into except the settings.colors into a Bootstrap folder, and then you would reference this. It might just be a bit cleaner because it's easier to see what are styles from Bootstrap. But there is also another method of loading Bootstrap, and that is by installing the npm module. So we can see that this works as well. It's better, I mean. Like, let's say we do some modifications to Bootstrap, we can put them below here, or we can also say like, okay, I'm not using the Jumbotron, so I'm gonna comment it. So this style of coding is already much better. Now there are some people who prefer to like update Bootstrap when there is a new version in an easier way. Personally, I don't really follow the releases that much because, I mean, it took years to get a new version of Bootstrap, so I kind of stopped caring about wanting to update Bootstrap. But hey, maybe for some people, so I will explain the third method, which is package manager. So we have here this npm install bootstrap command, which I'm gonna do now, npm install bootstrap, and I guess I will just also save it. Maybe that's the default these days because it's not in the instructions. And what this will do is it will add a bootstrap folder inside node modules. And if we look inside node modules, we will see that there's the SCSS as well. So what we can do, instead of just going to delete this so I can test my code, and instead of referencing Bootstrap from here, we're actually gonna reference it from /node modules /scss. No, it's Bootstrap SCSS. Okay. So now if we look at our local version, it still works. And let's say that there's a new version of Bootstrap. You go to your package.json to see what we have here, dependencies, Bootstrap, and let's say there's like a 4.10 or like a 4.02 version. You can load it this way. So these are the three methods to load Bootstrap or any SCSS framework for that matter on the CSS side. So in another screencast we will look at the JavaScript side because it's a bit more complicated, but this is how it works for the SCSS part.